Hi, friends. Welcome back to Social Studies. Today, we're going to continue with the independent practice portion of part one of our two-day social studies lesson entitled The Declaration of Independence. And our focus question is, what events led to the war with Great Britain? In part one, our lesson objective is to explore a variety of sources to identify the grievances or complaints at the center of the Declaration of Independence and analyze diverse perspectives on the idea of equality that the document promoted. So in our introduction, we came to the conclusion that the taking down of the statue of King George III from England was the colonists' way of saying, we are done, right? We do not respect this king as our leader. We don't want him telling us what to do. We want to have a say in the laws that are in the 13 colonies and how we are treated, in the taxes that we pay and where that money goes to. And he has refused to listen to us. So this is really important because it sends a very powerful message to the king, right? The king is fighting to keep power. He doesn't want to give up all the power that he has over the 13 colonies. And he definitely doesn't want to lose all the money that he's getting from the taxes. So, as you can understand, after the Battle of Lexington and Concord, everyone is really headed towards a bigger war, right? Based on the video, the Declaration of Independence, right, was the document that listed all the complaints and said, you know what, we have no other choice. We have to go to war, right? We want to have a say in our government, in the way we live and how decisions are made. And the king does not want to give us a say. So therefore, if he's not going to include us, almost like a partnership where we have a say in what happens in the places where we live and our votes count and where our tax dollars go to, then we want nothing to do with him, right? So our independent practice today has two sections. I hope that you guys were able to read ahead the list of complaints that the colonists made in the Declaration of Independence, right? You had access to this document in English and your home language if you needed those documents. And I just want to remind you that if you don't understand something that I read to you, you can go on rewordify.com, copy and paste the information, and it will help you understand some of the information that we're going to be reading about today. So for today's activity, we're going to pretend that we are undecided. We are neutral colonists who don't know if it's a good idea to go to war with England or we should not go to war with England. We should try one more time to maybe have some kind of communication with the king. Maybe he will let us have a bigger say in the laws that we have to follow here in the 13 colonies. Maybe he'll let us have a say in how the tax money is used so that he's not keeping all of it and using it in England for whatever he wants. Okay, so here's the list of complaints. And what you're going to do in your Google Classroom is for each rectangle, for each set of complaints, you are going to sort, meaning drag the rectangle to box one. If you think this complaint means there's a good reason to go to war with England, or if you think that what's written here, the complaint, is not a good reason to go to war with England, you're going to drag it to box two, right? So let's do two together. He has made it difficult to pass laws that help the people. He has made it difficult. Let's see. Why would this be I'm thinking this would be a good reason to go to war with England because the king makes the laws all by himself. He doesn't want the colonists to give their opinion on how things, on what laws should be in the 13 colonies. He doesn't even live in the 13 colonies and doesn't care, right? He doesn't want to help the people. So I think that's a good reason to go to war. Let's see, how about this one? He has made judges afraid to rule against him. I'm not sure if that's a good reason to go to war. If the judges feel afraid to speak out against him, maybe they can find a different way. Maybe they don't have to speak about him at all, or maybe there's another way to solve that issue. But I think this complaint by itself is not a good reason to go to war with England. Okay? So I'm going to read the rest out loud, and you can pause the video or go back if you want to hear the complaints one more time. Or again, if you're not sure of what the complaint means, you can highlight it, right? Go to edit, copy, rewordify.com, paste it, rewordify the text. And if there's anything, if there are words or phrases that you don't understand, Rewordify will highlight it or give you another sentence or word similar to what you don't understand so that you can understand what the complaint is. Okay. He won't let us have a say in the laws that are created. Put that up here. He has sent a large amount of armed troops or soldiers here, even though there is no war. Where do you think that would go? He allows armed troops to live in our homes. He prevents new colonists from arriving, or he stops new colonists from coming to live to the 13 colonies. He encourages Native Americans to attack us, meaning he's okay with it. He wants it to happen. He has taken away our local government. Remember the government that the colonists voted for? The king took that away. He does not let us have a trial by jury when we are accused of a crime. He sends people accused of crimes to England to stand trial instead of getting punished in the 13 colonies. He won't allow us to move into land occupied by Native Americans. He makes us pay taxes that we did not agree to. And finally, he has stolen from our shops and set fire to our towns. Okay, so once you finish moving the complaints into box 1 or box 2, then you're going to go ahead and click on the audio here and listen to more reasons for more pros. Yes, these are more reasons to go to war with England. Or cons. No, here are more reasons we should not go to war with England. Right? So if you want to pause this video and then click on the audio to listen to them, that will be fine. Here on your Google Classroom, you have access to this slide. So you're going to go back and you're going to count up how many rectangles or complaints you have in box 1 versus how many you have in box 2. Right? So if you have more reasons in box 1, more reasons that we should go to war, you're going to hold down your mouse and drag so that this sentence is highlighted. You go to your highlighting tool and you highlight. If you have more reasons in box 2, meaning more reasons we should not be going to war with England, you're going to highlight the second sentence, come up here, highlight. Or if you have the same amount of rectangles or complaints in box 1 and box 2, then you're going to highlight the third sentence where it says you have an equal amount of reasons in both boxes. Next, we're going to go back and reflect. What is the strongest reason from the list that we have here to go to war with England? Which is the strongest reason? Which is the reason that it is most difficult to disagree with? And then in box 2, which is the strongest reason for not going to war with England, right? Which is the reason that is most difficult to disagree with? You're going to copy each of those reasons here. What is the strongest reason why the colonists should support, meaning go to war with England, and explain why that you think that's the strongest reason? What is the strongest reason why the colonists should oppose, not go to war with England, and why? When you explain why, think back into to the videos you saw in the introduction and the images. That information can help you add to your explanation. Finally, as you finish, I want you to think personally when you answer this question. I want you to think about the previous lessons we've had. If you want to go back to the other lessons where we were analyzing the timelines of all of the events that occurred between the colonists and the British to help you answer this question, you can use that as a resource. Do you think it is worth all of the trouble to go to war with England? Why or why not? Answer this question in at least 5 sentences using evidence from today's lesson, right? So yes, you could use evidence you should use evidence that you sorted, but if you want to add extra evidence, you could look back at our timelines and all of the events that happened between the colonists and the British. Thank you so much for coming to Social Studies. I can't wait to read all of your work.